It's Nori checking in. I'm so excited. I have Ty Jones. He is an incredible artist, and we're going to get to know him a little bit. Of course, this is my podcast. I love the Internet Podcast, and I'm just really excited for this opportunity to talk to you. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing well. Happy to be talking to you as well. Yeah.
Good, good. I've had the opportunity to really get into your music and listen to what you're saying, your delivery. For those that are just being introduced to you and your music, who is Ty Jones?
Well, who is Ty Jones? Ty Jones is an artist for the people, somebody that's looking to uncover and speak directly to some of the things that have been plaguing our communities for extremely extended period of time. So I'm just here to speak for the people. I'm here to have fun. I'm here to speak for the young people who are trying to make something of themselves, but also enjoy life at the same time. Yeah.
So one of the things that I found interesting when I've listened to Furious Styles on repeat, like for a few days, and one of the things that really stood out to me is that you pretty early on in your lyrics speak to black girls missing, and the way you kind of tie that into just kind of seemed like you were having a conversation with somebody. So, what does that mean to be aware and conscious in a world that doesn't pay attention to black issues like they should?
It's, you want to say it's emotionally tiring, but it can't be more tiring than the people who are experiencing the traumas, right? So you want to keep everything in perspective, but it is something. It's like the whole song. I mean, our lives are just, those casual conversations like, oh, this is going on. Because it is going on, it's consistent, and it's something, it's a constant that doesn't go away. And so I wanted to make sure that I stated it very clear. It's like, our girls are missing. They're all black. Like, let's not, convolute the message or convolute what the issue is. They're missing, and nobody's tripping. So I can't belong in this conversation, in this space, because it's not bothering y'all. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of why he thought I was like, it's not bothering y'all. So I'm like, I'm off that. I'm off y'all. I'm off this scene. So yeah, it's important to call that out in music so that people can hear it and hopefully it resonates with them. Yeah.
So I feel like when you talk about your music resonating at the end of Furious Styles, there's this movie clip. I do believe that's Boys in the Hood. And I immediately was like, oh, that's Lawrence Fishburne. Okay, he's talking to Cuba. And they are, having this conversation about gentrification. It's a beautiful tie-in to the end of the song. Again, I was just like, it's so many messages that are not just overt. But if you're paying attention, you'll catch every subliminal, every hint. But I thought that was really important. Why did you choose to use that clip in particular?
Have you seen that movie recently? It's layered. It's crazy how layered that song is. But I'm on this wave in my music of picking these unsung heroes in these classics of ours. Like we know about Doughboy. Doughboy is, you know what I'm saying? Like we people resonate with that character. If, either they don't know, they don't show. We're gonna talk about that. We love that fighting scene with Cuba. Like we're gonna that's something that sticks out. But who Furious Styles was as a person, like as a man, that was a message. Like that was what was most important to me throughout that entire movie. When she wanted Cuba to understand what it meant to be a man, what it meant to survive, she sent him to his father. And he was somebody who was within the community, who had the wherewithal to start his own business. And he's, even when he's doing that speech, it was important because of the generations that were present when he was talking. And when you look at it, it's similar to I liken it to like Black Panther, right? When you had, you know what I'm saying? Like there were old that were there to guide and the wisdom, and then you had the young who had energy, and you had somebody that was right in between who had the charisma, the stamina, the wherewithal to exist and to educate, you know what I'm saying, and tie the worlds together. And he was a bad dude too, when somebody broke in, he had that thing. He was ready to protect, but he was within the community, he was living there, he was for it. And so that clip, The song is called Furious Styles because it's just like, who would Furious Styles be in 2020, in 2019? I think it's somebody like me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I like it. It resonates with me. So, yeah.
Let's talk about the evolution of your music from when you first started to when you knew, like, I want to be an artist. I want to share information, a message, and I just want to have fun. Like, your music is fun as well. So talk to us about, kind of how your music first started and kind of how you've evolved, and here we are in 2020. Because I think I've listened and I'm like, oh, okay, we done grew up. So talk to us about that.
I mean, you haven't even heard the old stuff. So I've evolved as an artist, as I used to perform in a choir called the Voices of Unity, and the choir is a choral group that trains young students on how to be on the soulful arts, and helping them understand that excellence is not something, it's not negotiable. Right? You have to seek to be better than the situation, the circumstance you're in. You just have to seek and strive for excellence, strive for greatness. And they used music, they used the soulful art forms as a way to help tie in those messages, right? And I think that's where I really get the start of understanding that music is powerful. It can move people. It can help to send a message further than you can as one individual in one-on-one interactions. So my early music was really heavy on message, poetry. It's like I go through this poetic phase because all my music is, I'm really trying to give speeches over beats, right?
Okay,
really,
I like that.
And so you really looking to tie and in the song and say, here's a message. But then you start to understand that in order to reach the masses, you have to also speak their language. So you have to also kind of give in a little bit and help give them music and sounds that resonate and are familiar to them, and help them move. Because I had to have a hard conversation with myself, and I'm like, okay, would you just throw on your music? Like, take the emotions out of it, take the pride, take the ego out of it, and you're asking people to buy into something, to listen to something, and it's like, okay, what situation would you put this on?
I wanted to ask you, is music therapy for you? Like, how do you, outside of, exercising or whatever other outlets you have, like, are you using music as a way to cope?
Yeah, you definitely. In music, I sometimes find myself writing stuff, and I'm like, damn, I didn't know I thought of that. You know what I'm saying? I actually didn't know that, or I spoke that into existence. I knew this was going to happen, and it's not just rhymes. It's not nothing. And that's why music, sometimes I don't put it out as frequently as other artists, because I can talk about money, I can talk about cars, clothes, girls, all that, and not saying there's anything wrong, because you need that space for party music, because I'm a jam my party music.
Right.
But for me and what I'm trying to do for my music in this time and space, it's like I have to experience life, and then that's what comes on my music. I have to know what I'm speaking to, and that's what will come out. But it's definitely therapy, man. It feels good,
Yeah.
for sure. Definitely.
I wanted to ask you this. Do you remember who your first, like, real fan was, outside of your family, outside of, like, your immediate circle, like someone that you never knew? Do you remember that moment when you realized, like, oh, okay, I got some fans out here?
One interaction in particular sticks out to me, right? You have people who have written to me over the years, but I think it wasn't until like 6 to 9 months ago, this guy, it's Mark on Instagram, hit me up, and he's like, hey man, where's the new music at? Where's the music at? And I'm just like, wait, what you mean? I'm kind of like, wait, I'm not thinking nobody's checking for, what I'm saying, me to release music.
Yeah.
And it's happened more and more that I think people feel more comfortable being like, hold on, actually, no, we really looking for stuff. And so that was the first one. I'm like, okay, bro, now I'm obligated to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't not release stuff because, you know what I'm saying, you believe in me, and so I'm going to keep it coming. Yeah.
Speaking of, your music dropping and keeping it coming, I follow you on social media, and you recently released like some teasers of some new music. So talk to us about, your new single that's dropping, the video, and that whole creation. Talk to us about that.
Sorry, mama, I curse on that song a lot. Um, my mom always listens to my music by way of my dad, and he was like, "Yeah, man, she heard them. she, heard, she heard them lyrics, boy. Oh man, that's embarrassing sometimes." But the song is or you have Fairy Styles, and it comes back and it reestablishes myself and saying, hey, poetry's still at the root of this.
Right.
We still talking about what's going on, but we're gonna come at it and we're gonna give you something that you're gonna want to listen to this.
Yeah.
Right? And then now you get a frustrated song and you get this other persona where it's like, okay, I don't think y'all have really understood and understand how I get when I get passionate about what I'm talking about. And so the song is called Problems because it's like y'all miss, like every day is some problems. It's always something.
Yeah.
Like, but it's like, okay, I'm with that. Like, cool. If you want to keep throwing problems our way, I'm with that, right? And they're gonna continue doing it. Then when you address that, they're gonna continue doing it when you elevate. So the song starts off when it's like, this is insane. You know, how many times can I say the same ish? Laid down, face on the ground, hit with the same stick. That's that attention getter where it's like, hey, I'm not going to keep repeating this same message over and over again that for 60, 80, 100 plus years we've been talking about what's happening to our people and ain't nobody listening. So here's the frustration. You're going to get it now. So that's where that song comes from. Yeah. And so it's over the top. The language is over the top in some regards. The video, though, I was like, hey, let me show people who Ty Jones is and give you a visual of, you know, who I am. So I'm excited. I'm excited. It's letting everybody know that I'm turning it up and it's go time. Yeah. It's go time. And it's like, okay, I'm up. I got everything that I need to get handled. The business is in order and now we hitting shots.
Okay. Yeah, because when I remember when you gave me a little sample of the video and I was like, oh yeah, I like it. And as a woman, you can get a little lost in the shirtless scene, and you got the bottle. It's very a little thuggery.
Just for the ladies. Put the grill in. I did the designer things. I normally will work with a stylist in my previous videos, and for this one I was like, I want to see what happens when I put my mind to it and I just do it. And so I want to be sexy. Like I want to do something for the ladies so that they have something to look at. So y'all let me know. y'all let me know, how you feel about it and if I should do a little bit more of that.
Yeah, well, the verdict's in, and I speak for the ladies when I say you should do more of that. That's okay. We approve.
Yes,
yeah, we with that. I think the other sexy part of you is your intellectual side. Of course, we get that through the music, but then also, again, on your social media, through the books that you share. So talk about how you feed your mental, how you feed your mind, and why that's so important.
Yeah, even got my daily reads over there, but every day I try to kick off with the Daily Stoic and words of wisdom from the Bible. But in general, I understand that I'm excited about learning more. You're better able to navigate this world the more experiences you're able to take in, and reading is that opportunity to take in as many experiences without going anywhere. Yeah, and that's always been something my parents have instilled. They turn that TV off and open that book, right? And I figure that when we get back to stuff that our parents tried to have us doing when we were young, that success starts coming. So I'm trying to hit 100 books this year, and people have started to buy into that and started to hit me up and give me suggestions. And you're starting to understand the world a lot more. You're like, damn, reading is it? Reading is really lit. It's crazy. And then you start to understand that some of your favorite artists are actually readers. They digest a lot of music. Some of the richest people in the world digest a lot of literature, and so that's the wave I'm on. Hopefully you can continue to, hopefully get a partnership with a major book publisher to say, hey, how do we feed the community with books that they need, that are necessary, and make it incentive driven so that, they understand that reward that comes from reading and engaging your mind, and your mind's a muscle, right? And so like you said, the way you work out, the way you engage is you exercise that muscle. And so when I don't read for last year, I really honestly, I probably read 2 books max. That's like pushing it if I finish both of them. But when you exercise that muscle, I'm through 10 already for the year. So you start, you have to keep driving, and once you do it, you thirst for it. versus the TV versus the music. And not saying anything's wrong with that, but you need to give your brain the ability to relax and the ability to think and process and to engage with different subject matters that challenges what's already being stored and inside of it. So that's one of the big reasons and drivers behind if I want to spend money on shoes, I want to spend money on books.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got a nice shoe collection. I'm telling you, I'll be checking you out. I'm like, okay, new shoes today. What are we unboxing? Okay, so I want to kind of wrap up with some affirmations. So I'm going to say the beginning of the sentence and you're going to finish it. Okay, you ready? So the first one is I will.
Continue to improve, continue to work hard, continue to give my all.
Okay. I believe.
In me.
Okay, the next one is I can.
Accomplish everything and anything that I want to.
Okay. I am.
Who I said I am. That's that seems weird, but that's actually the space I'm in right now, where I'm trying to remind myself that I'm Ty Jones, and I want to operate in that space and show people what that means.
Okay, and the last one is I will be.
The greatest to ever do it. I'm Paul Roberson, part 2.
Okay. This has been an incredible interview, digging a little deeper and pulling back the layers of Ty Jones. I'm excited to see where the future goes, and of course to watch all your videos shirtless. And to continue to follow your music. So thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to you.
I appreciate it. And we got to do this again. Everybody, Real Ty Jones on Instagram, IamTyJones.com. That's the website. Lock in. It's going to be an amazing ride. Be one of the first to catch this wave and say, you were with me on the ground level building. But I appreciate you. I appreciate you and everything you're doing for music right now. So let's talk soon.
Okay.